what we know and what we need to know. There's actually two different trig ratios that we can use because we need to find the base of this triangle. We don't necessarily need to find the hypotenuse because we're trying to find the area. That's the ultimate, that's what the question is asking. So we need the base and the height to be able to find the area. We have the height, we need to know the base. So we can look at this angle right here and we can find whatever the side we're looking is opposite this, and we know the adjacent. So which ratio has opposite and adjacent? The tangent. Yeah. Or we could look at this angle and say, okay, what has the opposite and the adjacent? Which is also still the tangent. Okay. So it just, I mean, either way, either one you use, as long as if you've done them, if you just want to go back and check, or if you're confident with what you did, that's fine. And again, depending on how you round, and depending on when you round, okay, if you don't round to the end versus I rounded immediately, your answer may be off by a few numbers, okay, but that's okay.
How do you do it whenever it's the hypotenuse?
You gotta use a different trig. You gotta use a different trig ratio. So you gotta look at the information you know and use it to find what you don't know. So 26 and 27 actually require you to do two different things before you find the area. Okay, I want you to try it though. I'll do one of them. I'll do 26 because it is different, and then you're going to have to do 27 by yourself.
So the adjacent, it can't be the hypotenuse, right?
Right. Okay, so I'm going to do this one, and then you guys are going to be left to do 26 by yourself. Okay? All right. 27. We know the hypotenuse. That isn't going to help us find the area in this case. Well, it is in a roundabout way, but we need to find the base and the height. Okay, so we're going to have to use two different trig functions here, or ratios, in order to find these two sides. Okay, so let's look at this angle measure right here. I need to know, in relationship to this, I can use it to find the opposite and the hypotenuse, and then I know the hypotenuse. So which ratio has the opposite and the hypotenuse in it? Sine. Okay, so I'm going to take the sine of 52, and that equals the opposite, which I don't know, right, over the hypotenuse, which is 34. Okay, so here, I'm going to take the sine of 52, which is 0.7, we'll say 0.788. And that equals what divided by 30? Multiply both sides by 30, and I get, well, we're going to round that to 24.
Is it 34?
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so we'll do the sine of 52 and then times 34, right? Okay, we're going to round that to 27. So right now, I know that this measure is 27. There's two different ways that you could find this side right here. Does anybody know which two ways they are? Okay, we can use the sine of 38, or what other formula up there on that board that's not a trig ratio could we use? Not a trig ratio. The Pythagorean theorem. Okay, we could do that. I'm going to go ahead and use, I think it'll be faster if we use a trig ratio. Okay, so I can take, again, if I want to know, if I look at 38, well now I could do the adjacent over the hypotenuse. Okay, so I could do the cosine of 52, or I could do the sine of 38, right? Okay, so let's just use the cosine because we haven't used that one yet. So I'm going to look at 52, and I know that the cosine is the adjacent, which is what I'm trying to find, over the hypotenuse. So I can take the cosine of 52, and that equals the adjacent, which is what I'm trying to find, over the hypotenuse, which is 34. Okay, so I'm going to take the cosine of 52, and we're going to call that 0.616 equals what over 34? Now I'm going to multiply both sides by 34, and we're going to go ahead and round it to 21. So now, does that seem reasonable? Are those measurements reasonable? 21, 27, 34. Yeah, they are. So now I can do my area. Area equals base times height divided by 2. So I'm going to take 21 times 27 and divide it by 2. And it tells me to round to the nearest whole number, so that's going to round to 284. give you about another 90 seconds.
did it.